Hi everyone, welcome to the 23rd episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by the host of Gossip with Grace, the one and only Grace Parisi.
Yay! Snap.
And since I'm not done with her just yet, we're also joined by episode 5 guest Caitlin Turner,
Yes.
who's going to answer some additional questions.
Wow, I feel so special. Am I like the first returning guest? I guess kind of. I'm like half.
Yeah.
Because I'm like the 1/3 of gossip.
Special things for special people.
That's so sweet.
And of course, we have. Oh, sorry.
No, that's exciting. Well, we have to announce Madame Casey.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say. We have the amazing Casey McNichol back on TD. So we have the whole squad is here for this very special episode of the Zicast.
She's peeking over your head.
And you guys know what the Zicast is about. And we have a really great show ahead of us. So let's get into things. So Grace, how about you tell us a bit about yourself?
Me?
Yes, you.
A little bit about me. I'm from Long Island, and I'm a senior at Quinnipiac, a film major. And as you know, I'm the head writer for Quinnipiac Tonight, and obviously the host of Gossip with Grace, along with Kate, who's my producer. And, that's been like my big selling points for like the past few years. Trying to think. I'm a writer. That's kind of said that before. I'm the head writer, but that's kind of what I specialize in the major. I don't really know much about the technical side, but if you need a script, I'm your girl.
Script or a joke?
Script or a joke. You can come to me.
Always good for those. And do you have any other positions at the school to note of? Or anything else you do?
I'm the coach for the women's club field hockey team. I'm the treasurer for Women in Film. I have written a play for the school. I'm trying to think of what else I've even done.
You've written a screenplay?
I have. I just finished my capstone script.
Yay.
And I won an award for the screenwriting award for the
Casey's literally on it right now.
And I just won an award through the School of Comm for it. And our podcast just won an award along with Ryan's.
Yes.
So we won most viral, so that's really cool too.
Yes. Bringing home the gold. So now we've laid the groundwork, so I'd like to kind of get into the topic. So I'd like to ask really you both to reflect on the very special, unforgettable season finale of Quinnipiac Tonight.
Yeah, so, I mean, everyone's been saying, and personally I agree, that it was one of the best shows we've ever had, especially, at least in the past 3 years that I've been here. And it was almost like everything coming together and truly showing how much we've grown since I was on cast 2 years ago. And seeing a huge rotation of positions around, because I stayed put. I went to I was the head writer last year, and then I stayed in the position this year, and there was not a crazy amount of consistency with our associate producing staff.
You've had a lot of different teams to work with, tons of different APs.
And I got to work with everyone in this room, actually.
Yeah.
I got to work with Casey last year as EP, then Kate took over, and then Ryan, you were an AP this semester. So it's awesome seeing everyone's creativity come out in the technical aspects, which again, I'm that's my weaker side. So if they're able to put their own little technical spin on bringing my script to life, it's awesome to always see it on the screen.
Yes. Because you very much put up with my technical nonsense with wanting to do all my weird crash zooms and arc shots and dolly shots and all that. So thank you for writing those in. Of course, thank you for everything. But of course, a big part of that season finale of Quinnipiac Tonight was Caitlin Turner's mic drop.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I'd like to kind of ask you about that and how your relationship with your special someone developed.
Yes, well, if you guys didn't know, everybody in this room knows, but I am dating my co-executive producer, Aaron Epstein, and we have been dating now for a bit over 3 months, so it has been a secret, but we've been seeing each other since November of 2023, so we started working together a little bit earlier than that for the actual show, obviously. just to prepare for the season 10. Yay. And we pretty much got like closer. We like literally, I think we started off, I called him my brother, so it's a little odd now. No, he's not my brother. But I just knew that I had like a special connection with him, so I didn't know what exactly that connection was, I guess, but we did start a while ago. The reason, I guess, a lot of people might be confused why we kept it a secret, mainly was because we didn't want to make everyone uncomfortable. We didn't know what the reaction would be. I mean, number one, I'm a bit older than him. He is a sophomore, but also, like, he's the 3+1, so technically he's a junior. I don't know. But he still is in his teens, so it's, like, a little sketchy. That's why you said I was a cougar, in the script.
Wow.
But that's something, it's so funny. I love that line. But yeah, so like we didn't want to make anyone uncomfortable. We didn't want to make anything weird. So we just decided, you know, we don't know where it's gonna go, but let's keep it on the low for now. It took me forever to be like, yeah, we can be boyfriend and girlfriend. He like asked me, like, I think twice before, and I said no. and but yeah, so eventually we started dating officially in January, and pretty much like ever since then it's been difficult. I think half of the people knew at this point, half the people didn't. But Grace, as soon as I think literally we weren't even dating at this point, I feel like, and you were like, we're gonna reveal it in the last show, like, because you knew we were gonna be together at one point, but you were like, a big thing why we wanted to keep it a secret as well is Grace wanted to write it into the show. And that's kind of because I hosted the last show. And so I was one of the hosts, which is amazing. I had a lot of fun. But so Grace was like, I want to write something. And I was like, okay, do it, but I don't know how you're gonna do it. I really don't, because I think it's weird. I think it's I didn't know what the reaction was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, that's weird, ha ha ha, like that kind of thing. So I was like, Grace, it has to be good, right? And what was your first idea that I turned down?
It was the cold open.
Yes,
I think.
Because you said something.
No,
and I was
it
like,
wasn't. We were originally gonna do a finals sketch, like a final exam sketch, and it was gonna be like how we did the midterm sketch previously, like around midterms, and it was all Quinnipiac.
Oh, the
oriented.
live.
Yeah, the live segment.
Okay.
And one of the questions was gonna be, who's Kate Turner dating? And then we ended up scrapping the entire live idea, and we ended up doing, what did we even have for the live? I don't remember.
With the people, well, one was taking the things home, and the other one we left to go do a quick
furniture.
change. So I don't know if that second one was.
That's why I don't remember. I was getting dressed.
For your wedding.
Yeah, for my wedding with JJ.
But yeah, it was supposed to be written into like an actual thing. But so she wrote the thing into the cold open, the cougar comment. What was it? It was like, oh yeah, because it was a huge like funeral-esque thing for the seniors who were leaving, and so it was amazing. I was laughing so hard at this cold open. It was amazing. My mom was dying in the audience, but yeah. So one of the things was, oh, she's a cougar. And then someone says, oh, really? Like, who's she dating? And then they say, well, you'll find out live from the piazza. And then she didn't write anything in the rest of it. So I was confused. And then apparently she told me this, which she probably did, and I forgot. I have a terrible memory. But she was like, oh, yeah, it was supposed, like, if you wanted to or not, you could say it in the goodbyes. And so I was like, I feel like I have to, because you can't just say I'm a cougar and leave it at that. And so, I'm also not that much older, but
For the record.
Yeah, for the record, I'm not like bad at that. Anyways, but so, yeah, so then I decided, it was literally spur of the moment. So no one knew, she didn't even know that I was going to say this. She encouraged it, but she didn't know if I was actually going to do it. She thought, you didn't think I was going to, right?
No.
So
I didn't think she was going to.
But then I ended up getting like I was shouting everybody out, and so my final one was I just wanted to shout out my co-executive producer and boyfriend, and then we like everyone kind of had like either a confused face or like a shock face, and then some like ooh in the audience, and so then I said, which a lot of people didn't know, and then everybody started cheering. It was a magical moment. I loved it. I mean, you got all the reactions of a mass amount of people on camera.
Forever.
Yes, forever. And I am like, I'm so happy I did that. I think the words came out right. I mean, I think everything went right with that, and I'm so happy. And like, obviously, I mean, again, we weren't very slick with it. We hung out all the time. I always was at their dorm. But like a lot of people didn't know still. But I just love seeing the mixed reactions, and like people like Alyssa were like, I knew it. It was the hardest secret I ever had to keep. And I was like, girl, calm down. And then, but like a lot of people knew, but then a lot of people like Michael Kesflin was always like, literally, if you look at the video, he's like, Paige also had a really good one, which are 2 cast members. Paige was on your Zicast.
Was, yes.
Watch that episode.
Please.
But yeah, I mean, I loved it, and I've had like, it was so funny to me, because you were the beginning kind of that, like, of, because you said, how did that begin? Like, we had made it a joke.
Yeah, we were making jokes, but like, what skits could we do? And I'm like, oh, EPs with benefits.
Yes.
And then you were like, oh, how can we shoot that? We can't film that. Ugh.
But my question still stands. How do we film that?
Well, apparently we know now.
But yeah, so you kind of deemed that thing, and so I was like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. It was not
just
a thing
do it in
yet.
real life.
It was not a thing yet, I swear, I promise you. But then obviously it became a thing, and I was like, oh, so.
Yeah, to kind of recount, I mean, what we talked about when I was on Gossip, where I was like, in the moment when you first said that, I was like, oh, LOL, that's a funny bit. And I'm like, oh, it's real.
Yeah.
And like I said, like a twist in a movie, all the flashback scenes started playing in my head.
Yep.
And then I'm like, oh my goodness.
That's so
I
funny.
foreshadowed this.
You did. You
With
did.
EPs with benefits. I knew it. When I had you guys back on episode 5 of the Zicast with you and Aaron.
Yes.
I had no clue what that would lead to.
When was that? Was that in November?
So that was it was my second to last episode of last semester.
So yeah.
It was the week before finals, the week of the final episode of that semester.
Yeah, because I think we were seeing each other at that point. He might have like literally slept over my apartment that night. And so we came together, which was funny. But yeah, that's crazy. We've come a long way. We'll say that.
But I respect you guys trying to keep it profesh.
Yeah. That was a big thing.
To try to keep the work environment good.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. That was just it added so much to the memorability of the night.
Yeah.
The aura of it, I'll say. Just like that, after such a great show, to just drop that on us. It was something incredible.
Yeah, you got all the pictures, the videos. We got some awesome pictures.
Me and Kate have been having like mad photo shoots this week. That's why Kate's dressed up so
yes, I just had my grad photos. Yes. I'm sorry if I'm blinding anyone with my paleness and my my white dress.
For a little bit, and then I had to go to urgent care for my sinus infection, and I did not go to urgent care.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Where did you go?
I had to do some work.
Oh my gosh. This is a girl. She's never, Grace, if you don't know anything about Grace, she does not stop moving. Ever. Like, she doesn't take care of herself. Go to urgent care. Get your sinus infection checked.
I know, but I will. I'm going to go tomorrow morning.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I have to go to White Plains tomorrow. But when I get back, we have to do the podcast. And then we have to shoot an episode of Gossip.
See?
And then
this is what I mean.
Then I'll go to
It's
the
that
doctor.
New Yorker always moving.
She is.
I can't. Like, if I'm, like, sitting in bed, even, like when, like, literally probably the day after I graduate, I'm going to be, like, laying in my bed, and I'm going to be, like, stressed. Because I'm going to be, like, I'm forgetting I have to do something.
You're going to be
like,
antsy.
That's what always happens to me. Like, when I was, I think it was over the summer, I had, like, some time. My room was spotless. Because I would, like, if I'm, like, it might have been last semester, too. Like, I was like, if I have time, like, I'm cleaning my room. So, like, anytime I wasn't doing something, I was cleaning my room because I had to be like active. Now my room is like a biohazard. I haven't had time to go to a doctor. I can't even clean my own room. So
wow.
Maybe that's why you have a sinus infection.
Like literally.
Wow. Cause and effect. But of course, you're talking about Grace writing in the cougar thing.
Yes.
It speaks to your writing prowess. You knew without knowing. So I think that's a great way to move into where your sense of humor stems from and how you kind of created the persona you have.
I was actually like pretty quiet from like not like shy, but like I wasn't like talkative like crazy in school growing up. Like, and then in 5th grade I had to be do you know the Chinese philosopher Confucius?
Yes.
I had to play him in the school play. It was like a time traveling. I don't really remember, but I remember like I just had to walk out and like say my lines and whatever, and I like went out and like acted like crazy, like ran out and like jumped and was like everyone was dying laughing, and like when I bowed at it, like I did like a kick or something, my shoe flew into the audience, like everyone loved it. And then ever since then I was like, I have to keep making people laugh. Like that was amazing. And also, I mean, I think a huge part of my humor started with my parents. They're like 2 of the funniest people I've ever met. Like anyone would say it too. My mom, actually, I got class clown in high school. My mom also got class clown in high school. My dad got best legs. I don't really know what the deal is with that, but both of them, like, they have different styles of humor, and then also the 3 of us all share one style that like is all 3 of ours combined. So definitely hanging out with them has been being raised by them. Yeah, I'm hanging out with Mike and Tracy for a little bit. No, being around them definitely helped. And then I'm just trying to think, like, my friends are all so funny too. Like, we had the weirdest inside jokes growing up, and I was just always the one that was like the clown, like the class clown. So then when I came here, it was the same deal. And then getting to Quinnipiac tonight, I didn't really know what I like wanted to, like I knew I wanted to write, but I never like actually cared enough to do it. I kind of was explaining this to you guys at the last show. Like, I had some epiphanies in life where I had to make a choice on what I had to buckle down, basically. So then I headed over to Quinnipiac tonight, and I learned as a cast member, the scripts were funny, the segments were funny, but they weren't anything like, they were safe. I guess that's the best way to describe it. And I wasn't sure if I could do it, and then I applied 10 minutes before the deadline, and Casey over here called me. So I was like, oh my gosh, like an interview. And we just submitted a writing sample, and I submitted
the Donald Trump script.
Donald Trump waking up hungover. And it turned out the night before he came out as liberal for his next campaign, and like all this stuff that like he's obviously very much the opposite. It was a comedy, and Casey loved it. She wanted me to be the writer, and then I learned we were TVMA, and that we can like basically say anything we want that's not like offensive, and just ran with it. Like I don't think I've ever like I've written, anytime I pick the pitches at our meetings, I think that I'll have like a grasp of an idea, and then I'll just start writing, and it'll just keep coming as I write. But as for style, I've always had a very raunchy style of humor. I've learned over the years with our age group too, and also with a lot of stuff coming out in like TV and film and on even podcasts, everything, TikTok, like it's gotten a lot more like hard R humor, which is kind of like pushing it, if that makes sense. I think because I forget if we talked about this a little bit yesterday, but comedy is like the only real form. It's authentic. So you'll know what people like and don't like, if that makes sense. So you just have to kind of take it in and like also adapt to like your surroundings if you're trying to be like the comedian of like what you're doing. So yeah, it's just kind of all of that together.
Yeah, that is a great point, because kind of like you said, like if you dance you'll get applauded, if you sing you'll get applauded. But if you're a stand-up comedian and nobody likes your jokes, boo.
Yeah.
So that's something that you emphasized. Of course, your parents, comedic powerhouses, powerhouse Parisis, they were there. Your dad to walk you down the aisle to your angel,
The best
JJ.
legs.
By Mr. Best Legs, walking you down the aisle. And that is very poignant, like the style, like we grew up on a lot of movies back in the 2000s that were very raunchy, like Superbad, for example, that kind of has that style that I feel like we've all adapted very well. So kind of moving onwards to a very similar topic, like what really drew you to wanting to work in comedy?
Just again, like I always have said, like my simple answer is like I love to make people happy. And if I can do that through making people laugh, that's like my favorite thing in the world. I definitely knew I wanted, again, to write and perform, or again, entertain, create content. And I think it just clicked. Like, I don't really know. I wrote a couple, I just actually, the final I just came from, I had to write a play. And I wrote a drama about this guy who he's in therapy because his parents it's a year after his parents were killed by a drunk driver. He's talking to his therapist. He meets this girl and they fall in love, and then she ends up having family issues, so he rekindles his relationship with her parents, and then he ends up murdering the parents because the girl was the drunk driver. It's a whole crazy roller coaster, as you can tell. That's probably extremely confusing.
Spoilers.
I know, but it'll never reach the public domain because I hate it. That's where I was going with all of this. I can write horror-ish. I'm lying. The horror scripts I've written are comedic horror. So like they're parodies. So it's just what I know, I guess. And I've had a lot of experience now over the past few years of writing things and then hearing it, like having it produced, having it shown, read, anything, even just a table read, and seeing people's reactions. I just can tell based off of what they're thinking that it's good. I mean, I also think my writing is good for our scripts, but obviously, like we were saying, comedy is real, and if you don't get laughs, that's how you know you got to fix your writing with it. But yeah, it's also just fun. It's always lighthearted too. Like I don't know, I've never been the type. I mean, I guess I could get deep, but like I'd rather just like be happy.
I feel like you could write like a really good horror because there's always like that one character who is like there. I feel like every horror film is like a comedy in some ways
because it's ironic.
Yeah.
This is kind of what we were talking about yesterday with Jordan Peele, actually. And I was telling you to watch Get Out. Jordan Peele was on a sketch show called Key and Peele.
Key and Peele.
Yes.
And his first ever movie that he produced and directed was Get Out. And even in his other 3 films, you can see his like comedy peeking through in some aspects. I actually just also wrote about a little bit of this in my paper yesterday that I had to do. But I'm just trying to think, like The Best Friend. You both have seen Get Out, right?
Yeah.
I've seen Get Out as well. I haven't seen
you didn't
Us.
see Us. That's what it was. Okay, perfect. So The Best Friend, Rod, who's like, get out of there.
So
like
funny.
He's the voice
Comedic
of
relief.
reason.
Yeah.
That's like to show the irony of like people in horror films that are like, is that a noise? I should go investigate. Like, and he's calling it out. So I feel like I kind of see what you're saying. I also feel like just the irony and like the tropes also in horror films. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to writing something like horror-esque.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see in the future.
Yeah. Maybe you'll do more of it.
And Jordan Peele has a quote that I believe I'm paraphrasing, where he said that the difference between comedy and horror is music.
Yep.
And I feel like you especially see this in Get Out, because a lot of the scenes would be kind of goofy if they weren't underscored by horror music with the context of the plot.
That's a good point.
So that's something I think of a lot.
Yeah.
And I also think of a quote I read recently from Judd Apatow, who is if you don't know who he is, the director, writer, where he said that that you should write comedies like dramas. And I was thinking of the script you talked about, where I feel like you could easily make that funny in your own way. Like I one of my favorite TV shows is called Barry. Bill Hader made that, an SNL cast member who went on to write and create that for HBO, where it's like he's a hitman who wants to become an actor. That's the plot of the show. But so it's like it's very goofy, but it's also insanely serious. So I feel like there is that dramedy, that kind of like blurred line between them that I think is very interesting.
Doesn't that include a lot of dark humor?
Yeah.
Because I know Aaron's trying to get me to watch that.
Very.
Would you suggest?
It's one of my favorite shows.
Okay, then
I
you
absolutely
suggest.
love it. I think it's very Grace Parisi.
Oh.
I think if you watch it, you would like it.
Grace doesn't have time to sit down and watch.
Maybe this. I was going to, which is funny. You asked me if I have a favorite book the other day because I was saying last week to myself that I'm gonna start reading more, but maybe I should get like into the TV shows because that's like our major.
That's like what you're gonna probably be doing.
Yeah. Have you guys ever seen The Sex Lives of College Girls?
No.
That's a great show, and that's a show because you just reminded me when you said it's a like Grace-esque show. That show I've been told so many times by people that's you, and I watched it. It's actually really good. Timothy Chalamet's sister stars in it. I don't remember her name in real life, but there's a character in the show, and she it's me. Like it's if you watch it,
Literally
that's
me.
Grace Parisi. She wants to be
Literally.
an SNL writer.
Oh wow.
She's very raunchy. Like it's. Everyone's
Awesome.
like, that's literally you. That and Melissa McCarthy, which we could have also talked about.
Speaking of Timothy Chalamet, I think I've seen a picture of him recently. If you don't mind showing the camera.
On my.
Just in case. Just so people know.
Yeah, they need to know he's mine. Like I love him. He's my
Like I bite.
Like I bite.
Don't come at me when I'm
teething
them.
Which was, and for those who don't know, that was a skit from our last show. And
So funny.
Also clarify for people we don't know, when I say that Grace got married, we did a,
Oh yeah, we just completely just glossed over that.
I don't want to, I guess, the love is real, but the wedding is a mock wedding between her.
There was a piece of paper that they signed.
Yes.
Ryan.
And Poppins is oriented. No, wait, what's the name?
Yeah, what it was.
Ordained.
Ordained.
She's oriented.
She is well oriented. She is also ordained. That's what I meant to say.
And she married one of our valued APs, now new entertainment director,
Yes.
JJ Tafuto,
I love him.
Yes.
which carries on.
Why isn't that your home screen?
I know. I was actually gonna change it. and
You
then I
should. That would be
forgot.
so cute.
I was gonna put, because we got such cute pictures. We got one of me and JJ like jumping up and down screaming.
It
like
was
my
so
favorite
cute.
picture.
Shout out to Erin Russell. She killed
Yes.
it with these last photos.
She got
Very
such
much
good
so.
pictures.
Killed it.
I was so happy.
Yeah, it was really good.
But yeah, we got married, and JJ's just like my angel baby. That's why I always call him, because he's so sweet. And I just like had like an epiphany one day. I was like, JJ's so cute, and I love him. Like
You just realized.
Yeah, I was like, he's
divine
like that.
intervention.
Literally, like I was like, I just love him. And so then, and then also, JJ is Aaron's sweet mate. So obviously the two, Aaron and Kate, were in cahoots. So then the four
We're
of us,
playing Kahoot.
the four of us just started like hanging out more. And all jokes aside, me and JJ are like very close friends, and
Yeah.
we have so much fun together, especially the four of us. And me and JJ, I always say this, me and JJ always notice people being weird and then look at each other, and we're the only two people in a room that notice it, and we will die laughing every time.
I've started to do that too. Every time something happens, I look at JJ. I'm like,
JJ's very, because JJ's quiet, he observes.
He's got that awareness, yes.
everyone trusts him too, which he is very trustworthy. He never lies or anything. He is genuinely the
Yeah.
definition of an angel. Like, no, if anyone doesn't like him, there's something wrong
It's
with
them,
you.
yeah.
It's something wrong with you. But no, he's amazing.
I
He
asked
really
him once, I
is.
said, have you ever gotten mad? He was like, no. Like, he just doesn't care. Like,
He calls it, he's whimsy.
He's whimsy.
He's
Yes.
whimsy. He's
On a
very
whim.
whimsy.
yes.
Wow. You got that like Jim Halpert look at the camera energy.
I'm like, yeah. No, that's Ragnello.
Yeah.
Ragnello reminds me of Jim Halpert so hard.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
It's his facial reactions, that's why.
And he was on what episode was it?
He was episode 3.
He's
with
episode
Joe-
3.
With Joe Akins, his
Yes.
roommate.
Yeah.
Or sweet mate. I don't know if they're direct.
One of them.
One
They
of them,
live
yeah.
together.
Live together, yeah. So
But
some
that's
more
exciting.
Zicast lore.
Yes. There's so much Zicast lore. When you said the number, what one was this? 23?
This is 23, yeah.
That's insane. Good for you. You're
Yeah.
cranking these out. That's
Well-
awesome. And they're all amazing.
Thank you.
love
I
it.
couldn't do it without my glorious TDs. I almost said EPs. But
Well, kind of.
Actually, yes. Actually, yes.
But yeah,
Yes, Casey McDickle's EP tenure. It was before my time.
it was
Yes.
before your time.
When I spawned in here.
Yes, you spawned out of nowhere. We were like, oh, there you are. Hi.
Wow.
Good morning.
So, moving onwards, I'd like to ask you, Grace, about kind of your journey in QU tonight and what made you want to be the head writer. Even though we've kind of touched on this,
Yeah.
but it's written here. So,
I don't know how much I can reveal on the
About what?
Zicast. Can we say like bad things on the Zicast?
you
Not,
can
like,
say whatever you
cursing.
want. I want people to be authentic.
Okay,
So you can
okay,
say
okay.
whatever you want.
So
I just might not interject.
It's just like beep.
I shared this with our lovely show members when we were saying our goodbyes, but I was, and everyone, we were like, again, we were talking about this, like everyone was like, oh, I was going through this point in my life and this club helped me feel better and give me a place to go. I did not have that. Like, I was actually very content, but I was a mess. So
You were a delinquent.
it was like the same energy, but like in different, it was like yin and yang. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Like, I don't know. It was this, same vibe, but
Yeah.
different like circumstances. So I go home after freshman year of college, and although my parents were hilarious, they were very strict, and I was a big misbehavior senior year of high school, and so they had me on their radar. And looking back, like rightfully so, like I was just not acting appropriate. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I go home and I committed a hit and run on a car. Like, I was going to buy something that was illegal for my age at the time, panicked because I like didn't have enough money or something, and I crashed into this car, crashed into Duncan, and left. And I was like, oh my God. And I go home, Casey's jaw dropped.
Did you not know this
Didn't know-
story?
This was actually probably one of the worst things I've ever done in my life.
This is true?
Yes.
Yes.
And so I go to my friend's house. Aaron Epstein is walking in the parking lot. I'm sorry.
With my
Wow.
backpack.
Anyways. So
That's kind of. I wish I could get a picture of that. I'm locked in. You can continue. I'm
the
sorry.
kid whose car I hit went to my high school. He's a year younger than me. He found me at my friend Bella's house. I like don't know how. I think he might have like gotten my plates, tracked my plates. He had the cops looking for me. Like, I, by the grace of God, honestly, better that he found me because I would have went to jail. And my parents were going to kill me. Like, they were going to kill me. And again, rightfully so. And right before sophomore year started,
Bless you.
thank you. They were like, you have to like get yourself together. Like, do good in your classes, join stuff. Like, you are a film major. Like, there has to be extracurriculars. And I was like, no, there is none. Like, lying. Like,
There's none.
there's literally like, that's like one thing that I like commend about like School of Com is like we actually have a lot of film clubs.
We have a lot. Like, specifically, I mean, it's crazy how much we have, and it's absolutely insane to me. Like, what are people doing that aren't in these clubs?
I know.
I wonder that too.
Like-
I'm an English major.
Yeah.
You literally either have to like be in the clubs or do your own stuff outside
Yes.
of school. Like Jordan Stewart,
You
he has his
have
own
to.
production company. Like, he's amazing.
Yeah.
He didn't need to join the clubs. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, but
But
I
some people
heard-
just don't do anything.
I heard
Yeah.
about Quinnipiac tonight from like Ari Menes, who's a guest. I don't know the episode, but he was a guest on here.
Yeah, episode 6, right after
It's right after.
Kate and
Yes.
Aaron with Merle.
Jesus Christ.
And what'd you say?
I care too much.
How do you have all these memorized?
It's all in here.
Well, that's a good point. I don't feel like I could do that with ours. I mean, if you quiz me, maybe I could get it, but
I feel like I could, but not right now. But he mentions Quinnipiac tonight a few times, and I like really didn't even know what it was. And I showed up to my audition. I was so nervous. I was literally like, oh my God, like I've never like performatively been funny to someone. Like, I don't know. Like, I've acted before, but I've been acting since I was like 8 maybe. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do good. And I did. I remember Jamie Manley, the executive producer before Casey, I was reading the script and I saw her in the corner of my eye start nodding like to the other EPs. Like, she was like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I felt better. I made the cast, and again, I wanted to write, but I just was like, my priorities weren't straight. So like going out, partying, making friends, like, I mean, not in like, I mean, it was probably like a little unhealthy when I was at that stage, but I think that going out and partying is a good thing. Like, not saying to drink and black out and act like a
You
psycho.
were social. You were
But
hanging
yeah,
out with friends.
it was also during COVID. It was very hard to make friends with people. Like, my building went on lockdown for 20 days and we weren't allowed to leave. So having like these little parties and going and like doing these things were really important at the time because you didn't know if you were gonna be told you gotta pack up and leave the next day. So I just wanted to make that clear because I go out a lot, but I love having fun is important, especially when you're always busy. If you have time to go play, go play.
Especially now, I mean, senior year, where we missed a lot of stuff because of COVID. Like, you didn't have
As
that.
a senior,
you didn't have the parties that you like would have as a. You know, like, I'm not one of those people to go and party, but I don't judge you for that.
Yeah.
You know.
And Kate will come out sometime. She'll show face once.
I went once to Auntie's.
But yeah, and again, kind of like I was saying before, I like fell in love with being on the stage again. It was a really long time. Like, the last time I was on stage was when I was Confucius. And the first time I told you guys this already, but I went on stage, which it wasn't really a stage, it was that weird room. It was the room we do cast run-throughs in because the piazza was booked.
Yeah.
And it was a whole mess. And they said, you're doing improv, pick a character, anything you want, let us know. And I did Karen. I was a Karen. And which that was everyone's huge, like, oh my gosh, like, I told Taylor that, and she was like, that should be in a movie. Like, that's, like, so full circle. And I was like, yeah, I know, but, like, it's just things like that. Like, you have to pull from your own life, too. That's another thing. Like, a lot of the first, like, maybe, like, 5 episodes I wrote, maybe more for Quinnipiac Tonight, I was pulling stuff from my own life. And that's what I did with my capstone project, too. It's all about Quinnipiac Tonight. And obviously things are dramatized and some things are completely made up, but it's based off of the whole idea and like things that have happened to me. Like, I don't want to give too much away, but basically, like, the one we did, I think you were all there, possibly not Casey, but you've read the script. The scene where Anna and her boyfriend are sleeping and he pees in her bed and they break up. There's,
I think all of us were there. Yeah.
it's a little, like, it's just things like that you just pull out from, like, things you've experienced. You've heard other people talking about that is, like, hilarious.
I thought that was one of the makeup things.
Oh, no, Casey.
The fact I knew that was real because you've talked about it in the past. Yeah.
No hate or judgment on the person who that I had that encounter with. But it did happen, and it's funny, and it's something that happened to me in my life that I was able to make others laugh about. But again, I'm getting very, very intricate, but basically I love doing what I was doing. And I remember, again, like I said, the scripts were great. It was Liam Devlin. He was the head writer before me.
Yep. And
he was really good at what he did. It was just not pushing the TVMA. And I always say, like, I hope that, because a lot of people have been saying, like, we're worried for when you leave, like, it's not going to be the same. What are we going to do when you leave? And I said to everyone in our show, like, it was amazing. Like, the writing, the acting, the everything that we've had in the past 2 years was incredible. And next year it's going to be incredible, but it's going to be incredible in a different way. Because, again, there's a million styles to go with comedy, and all I can say is that I hope whoever takes the next position remembers that we can push it. It doesn't have to be the same style as me, but you can take it to those levels. You can take it TVMA. You can curse. We got can I curse?
Sure, yeah.
We got ass and shit unlimited curse words. We used to have those limited, so now they have. I got to experience that for a short period of time with the position, but they have it for the whole year next year, and obviously all the others. And again, there's just so many ways to be TVMA without having to write my specific way. So I'm not worried that it's gonna be unfunny. And also our cast is amazing, and something could read semi-funny on paper, and then when it's performed or a certain technique is used when editing, it can make it like 10 times funnier. That's what happened when we did like making fun of misogynist type sketch, and Kate edited it really funny. Like, she put text next to, like, everything they'd say, and it literally made it from, like, a 6 to a 10, I would say. Like,
yeah, I mean, I was even the writing, the script, like when I shot it, because I had to quickly shoot it, very quickly, because we had Buckman for like an hour and a half, and so I was like, okay, so I shoot this, right, and I'm like, okay, and I shot the other part of it. I was in it, actually. It was called Women in Film, and because Women in Film was hosting that show, and so when I was editing it, it felt like just a misogynist dream. It just felt like there was nothing wrong with it, and like, I want everyone to watch this and like know that it's not like satirical, in like, I don't want there to be a possibility that you get it confused.
Like, they're laughing, like, they're laughing with the men, not at
exactly.
The men.
So I wanted to make sure we were laughing at the men, and so I added like the words and sound effects and everything like that, and zoom ins and close ups and everything like that, and it just, I think, just because then it was hilarious. Like, the writing stayed the exact same, but how you edit it and how you film it makes the world of a difference.
Even the shots stay the same.
Yeah,
because
the
you're
shots,
editing it.
It was all the editing. It really was. It's and that's why I love editing so much, because of how much power you have. And you're like, I can fix this. Like, I'm always like, oh, if you want it, like, even for people who do projects, I'm always like, even JJ the other day, I was like he's like, I have this huge project. I'm like, oh, you want me to edit it? Like, I'll literally do it. He's like, no, it's for my homework. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But it's so fun to me. But that's why I think we work so well together, because you do everything I'm not great at.
We always say this. Kate's good at the stuff that I'm bad at, and I'm good at the stuff Kate's bad at.
Yep.
Not
Dynamic duo.
Kate's not even that bad at anything, though. Like, Kate,
but also, I don't want to be like the face of many things, like, and you want to be the face of everything. And
Kate can act, that's for sure.
Can I?
I saw Facebook Moms.
Everyone
I
keeps
believe.
talking about the Facebook Moms. Everybody.
That was.
Yeah.
Aaron,
we have a
is
visitor.
Aaron visiting? He's told me he was gonna bring me my bag because I didn't have to get home to change.
What's up, Aaron?
We were just talking about you. Come say hi.
Yeah, come.
Oh, hey.
That's a wow.
Which mic?
You could go.
Come on over here.
Yeah.
Come in the middle.
You come in. Yeah.
Oh, I'm out of frame.
Wait, go to ours. Go to ours.
Yeah.
This is
Hey.
Aaron. We were talking about him. He's
Kate's
the co-EP,
boo.
Yes.
my boo.
I've been on the show before.
Episode 5.
Yeah.
Guest
My bad.
Aaron Epstein.
Yeah, I just had to bring Kate some of her stuff. She forgot it, like usual. Yeah, that's about it, and then that's all the time I have for this.
Wow, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you
I will
for
be watching
reappearing.
this, though, don't worry.
A guest appearance.
Yes, a guest appearance. from
Yes.
Give
Aaron
JJ a kiss for me.
It is very
I'll
hot.
give him
It's
two.
very hot today.
Actually,
It's
great,
so
JJ moved out.
You're right.
We were also just
I
talking
know.
about
Yeah.
JJ.
I'm seeing him on Friday and Sunday, so it's fine.
Bye, Casey.
Wow.
Wow, little pop by. Thank you, Aaron, for
Yep.
bringing me my bag.
Thanks, Aaron. But anyways, Kate was fantastic in Facebook Moms.
Yes.
She was so good, and she said to me too, because I had to leave. Hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you. Do you know how I had to leave the shoot for Facebook Moms and come back because I had to go see that play?
Yeah.
I never had to see it. It was for extra credit.
Are you serious?
And I didn't write the paper because I forgot everything.
Wow.
But I was so mad about that because I could have just stayed, and that thing, the whole shoot could have been like wrapped up 2 hours early.
Probably.
But it's fine.
It was a fun time. Were you on that shoot?
I was not.
Dang, it was such a good shoot.
I was gonna
Wish
say
you
you're
were
like
there.
the only one. That
There was a
the whole
lot
show
of
was
people
there.
there.
But
I walked in, the entire station was waiting for me. I said, "Oh, hi." I was
Kate-
quickly doing my makeup in the beginning.
Kate was texting me while I was at the play and was like, Grace,
Yeah.
I don't know if like I did it right, like, because we did the read through and Kate like was like almost doing what I wanted her to do, and then I was like, it's fine, like we'll figure it out like on the day of, like you have the idea, and it was like a different person, like she's like the hand movements, like I think she might have watched like B-roll of me that she like planted a camera in my apartment or something. I don't know, like it was so good. I said I think she might be my New favorite mom.
Oh,
I don't even think I
Oh.
could have picked between Jeff and Jack, though.
they're so good. They're so talented, all of them.
I know.
But they're hilarious. Everything that they did. Like, Jeff is just so dedicated. I mean, Jack literally stuffs things in he puts 2 hats in his chest to make breasts.
For his.
I didn't
his
tell
mom.
him to do that. He did that. He showed up on my very first shoot, his very first shoot, and did that on his own. Like, these people are just so creative, and they're just willing to do anything for the laughs. And it's amazing. It makes a world of a difference when you have those types of people rather than someone who's just
The
going
respect.
to the respect huge, but like building your resume. Like, don't come here if you're just trying to build your resume.
That's a huge thing.
You're like you're ruining it for a lot of other people. Just like, you should be here because you want to be here.
That's probably the biggest thing. And I told a few people who they were interested in being head writer for next year. They came to me and they were talking to me about it, and I said to them, if you like are doing this because you love it and you want to, like, not to have a high position, not to be in control of the jokes and everything, because a perk is you get to pick the segments and whatever, but I don't even necessarily think I see it as a perk. Like, I'm like, what is going to be the best for our show? And
That's a lot of stress on you.
what could it's a big, like, that's what I'm saying. It's a big job. And like, what are the APs going to do well with? Like, when I'm like, oh, this one, like the episode one, I was like, we're doing this if Sophia wants to do it. And she was like, she already came. She was like, I saw that you dotted it. Like, I want to do that one. And I was like, perfect. Like, but you have to like really, really want to, like, Kate knows this. I say this all the time. I've failed classes for Quinnipiac tonight, and I'm not even mad about it, because failing, I don't even know what they were. Failing, like, earth science, which it wasn't earth science, but like, I don't remember, but oh no, it was motion graphics, and I was told to withdraw. I didn't fail it, but still, failing or having to withdraw from that class is like, not like, if I had to tell a job that, so what, I'd be like, oh, well, I also have all of this stuff made with all these people from this show.
No one's gonna ask you.
No one
You're gonna
cares
get
about
the
that. They
piece of
care about
paper.
what you did with your time at school,
Yeah.
not your I mean, your grades obviously for different majors, but I feel like for our major, since it's so creativity based, they want to know what you did with your time. Like, that's another thing my dad said before I joined Quinnipiac tonight. He was like, you're gonna realize, like, in 4 years, like, you're gonna want to look back and say, what did I make my time worth it at school? Did I get everything I could possibly get out of what I want to do? Because in the real, like, people want to help college kids. They don't, like, when you're 28, like, we have an advantage. Like, let's say I wasn't in school and I was 28. You have to be, like, either, like, disgustingly talented or really know someone to get into this industry. We have, we're making all this content together. We're forming connections, like Andres in LA, even Fritz, the screenwriting professor, Atkins. All of the professors here have connections too. So it's also a big thing to network while you're here. But yeah, it's just, I mean, again, I'm going off on a tangent, but
Oh, no worries.
it's, if you don't have like a passion for your position, and especially I would say the head writer position, it's not going to be enjoyable for you. And then it's going to leave like rings on the club. It's going to show. If you're not passionate about a creative project, it's going to show in the final product. It always does. I've written a few scripts where I remember I was going through a rough patch last year, and I wrote 2 terrible scripts, and it was because I was upset, and I didn't feel like writing, and you could totally see it through I think one of them ended up getting cut, and I took full blame for it, because I was like,
Well, I wrote one of mine. It was like one of the room one, and
Which
they literally
one?
critiqued it because they were like, "This isn't a very good writing," and I was like, "Yeah, no."
wait,
it's
which
okay."
one was it?
It was the dorm, or no, the RAs. It was the RA territories. Do you remember that one?
No.
It's when when Jeff was with like
Sean?
Sean was in it. I don't think he was the main one, but
RA territories. Oh no, I'm already.
do you remember that one? How would you
Which
explain it?
episode was it?
It was early.
2?
Was it?
It was 2. Episode 2.
Well, there was a whole fiasco. Which
Oh.
I don't know if you were. Yeah, I don't know what exactly happened, but you like. I think that was another situation
Does
that
Jack
you had.
like take his shoe off or something in it? Randomly?
I don't
It's
think
like
so. Yes.
setting a fire.
No, you're right. He does take his shoe off.
No, or that was the one I was in.
No, he does take his shoe off and he like smells it.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jack, what are you doing?
I didn't write that, I remember.
It was not written. But he does that all the time. He does like fun improv things.
Like random little
Hmm.
things.
But yeah, like it you know, a lot. That was very loud. But yeah, I mean, I remember that one, and then there was a few others last year. But I think you were fine by the time that you were writing mine. But I just remember the one RA Territories. We literally got critiqued for the writing, and I was just kind of sitting there like, and then Grace was like, "I'm so sorry."
I don't even remember, like, I remember I didn't go to the first post-show meeting.
Really?
Yeah, because I had to go to it wasn't like a party, but it was like a formal-ish party event.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
And I remember I said, Ben Darling, because he was the EP with Casey. I said, Ben Darling, I have somewhere I have to go. And I knew if I said a party, he was going to be like, what? So I was like, he was like, where do you have to go? And I was like, I can't tell you, I just have to go. And he like leaned in and was like, you can just tell me, it's fine. And I literally was like, no, I have to buy it. Like, I was like, no, I have to go. I'm sorry.
It's funny.
Like, oh my goodness.
Well, we covered all the ground there. But yeah, really, you set a very high bar for what you do, and it'll definitely a lot of difficult big shoes to fill.
You guys got it. I
Yeah.
have full
Not-
faith.
Yep.
And if you
I'm
guys
not
need
worried.
help, I will send you a graphic.
I will write you a line.
Yeah, at Shayna and Ryan Agnello. If you want to do an alumni episode.
Yes.
No.
I would love to. I would come back.
You have a few people, I think, that would come back. I know Jamie would probably come back.
Casey
I bet
probably
Casey
would.
would be like hopping on that. I would definitely come back. Grace,
Mhm.
right in. So we could be the alumni show that never happened.
Which was something I did work on. Since we're talking so much about your writing, Grace, I'd like to ask you about your ability to write on the fly and how you built those skills.
People always ask me that, and I know I kind of touched on it before a little bit, but it's just like even my capstone script, like there also, fun fact, there's been that's the first draft. And
Really?
yeah, I was told that it needed like minor like formatting revisions, but the actual content was like perfect basically in my professor's eyes, which was a huge ego boost because that's crazy, like one draft and he's like, you're set. But I just know what comes next. Like if
Mhm.
I could like go like this and then the script like is being written in my brain on the computer, be done in maybe like 2 seconds. I could see it in my head. I would say like maybe like 5 lines before. And I know like the storyline. It's like the dialogue. I'm like, okay, so this person just said yes and they're gonna respond with this and that, and like I don't know. It's just I guess
It clicks.
a gift.
No, it is. I think that's a perfect way to put it. I mean, because I don't understand it. Like, you both are huge English people. You guys write everything. I mean, you've written, 3 novels?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you've
that's
written
crazy.
a million scripts. Like, you guys have both had your very fair share of writing. And I could never imagine that being my skill ever with writing. But I know it with editing. Like,
Yeah.
that's just, you feel it. You know when to cut. Like, everyone always asks me, like, oh, how do you know what music to use? Or how do you know when to cut or what? You just feel it. Like, and I think a lot of people, like, some people don't feel it, but then if you feel it, you feel it.
Yeah.
And that's like with you guys with writing, which is so awesome.
Yeah, I very much agree because obviously I got my start writing creatively, and that's kind of when I was writing my stories. That's kind of how, or when I write, because I still do. You kind of just see it in that sense.
Yeah.
And that's what when you really, I kind of like you said, Kate, feel it. You just go.
Mm-hmm.
You just go until you're not feeling it anymore, and then you stop. Because I always noticed, like, when we would do our writing sessions, and especially now with me as an AP, I'd be like, well, I have like a general grasp of this, but I don't really know what to do. And you would just sit there, you're like, okay, and you just get the entire script done. I'm like, wow. I'm like, even with knowing being a writer, I'm like, I don't know how she does that. So I was always captivated by your ability to just figure it all out
Yeah. I
so
think
quickly.
the fastest I ever finished a script might have been, I think it was Shayna's for the holiday episode. They finished it in 19 minutes.
It wasn't the one that you sang, the song, the 12 Days of...
Oh,
Finals?
you're right. I forgot about that one. Last year for the holiday episode, Seta, one of the APs, I don't, for some reason too, like the writing sessions were way more lax. Like, and I remember we wrote scripts like without a writing session. I know I did with Holly a few times, another past AP. Seta calls me. I'm like, Seta, I don't know where I was. I think I was coming back from an appointment or something. It was late. And I was like, I'm not going to make it back. Like, do you want to just move the session? She's like, like we could just write it like at some point. And I was like, hold on. And I just voice to texted the entire script while I was driving home. And it was done. Like,
That's crazy.
that one was a fairly easy one though. It was the 12 Days of Christmas song.
I've seen that.
It's really good. It was like one. I think that was our first song, wasn't it? And then ever since then, you couldn't stop.
Yep.
I love my musical episodes or segments.
Yes, they're all really good.
Now, continuing to dive into your head writer talents, I'd like to ask you how you direct actors and tips for getting the most out of your talent.
I think a big helper is the fact that I'm writing the scripts. So my brain works differently, I think, versus someone who's in like directing. Because if I'm writing it, I know exactly how it sounds in my head, and I know, especially also being head writer for 2 years and also working so closely with the cast, I know how they say certain things. So that helps me too. Like I know how Jeff will scream. So if I write in he's screaming, I know exactly how it's gonna sound. Same with like Madison too. She's very particular in some things that she does. And so I like to balance it by playing off of their talents as actors, but then also if I want something said a certain way, I kind of just say like, oh, say it like this, or even in the table, that's kind of like all I do basically, and then I'll let them, like, it's only when it's specific, I would say. If not, I'll let them put their spin on it. But with our improv like training, I would say like it was important like to make sure they knew, like I'm trying to think, just like the basic rules like that we had, like don't laugh on the stairs, like stuff like that. And then also with their acting, like the guidelines of what they can and can't say if we were to do improv or on stage in a live, like we practiced you can't say the F word, anything in the guidelines basically we do in practice so you don't screw it up on the stage. And then on top of it, I'm just trying to think, like, because I didn't really go to many shoots this year. I did table reads before, but I would put faith into my APs to make sure that the actors are doing what they were told to do. And most of the time people would, aside from MKF doing that one thing. But
that one thing.
Yeah.
Let's just leave it at that one thing.
A
please.
mind of his own. Let's say that.
MKF always was doing something crazy. Some like that stuff like that. Like I knew MKF, like I've known him since I think my first time, my first day of head writer. Yeah, and he would always
started last year.
He would always do some stuff to change it up, which at one point I just kind of gave up. 'Cause I was
He's
like,
gotten a lot better though.
Yeah, he has, and I cannot be more thankful for how respectful our cast was with all of the stuff that we I make them do in the segments. The jokes they have to say on a stage in front of an audience, that's even worse than something violently inappropriate in a segment versus saying a joke that's maybe half as inappropriate in front of a live audience. Because like I said, comedy's real. If they're gonna be like, ew, it's kind of on you. To be fair, everyone knows that I make them say these things, but like still, there's this, I feel like it's nerve-wracking. So it takes a lot of courage to do what we do, all of us. Yeah. Even just this, like going on and talking and putting it out into the world, like people don't understand that it takes a lot to do that. So I'm so proud of them for that. I'm so proud of the like the progress they've made as actors as a whole. Like they all like everyone usually comes into Quinnipiac tonight. No one's like generally like I want to be an actor, so I'm going into this show to do it because there's a theater program and there's other things, but it's kind of more like funny people wanting to go do funny things. That's how I saw it when I was a cast member, and their acting skills have just been so good, so good, and it's because they genuinely want to do it and they want to be there. That's what I keep saying too. If you want to do something, you will do it. It's that simple. So I just think in a directing sense though, it's just kind of based off of the scripts more, I would say. Unless I have something like violently specific. But, yeah.
I was about to point that out. Yeah, it's an interesting descriptor.
Yeah.
That's Grace for you.
But yeah, very much so. Knowing AP, sometimes you just turn the camera on and let them do their stuff in between the crash zooms and the arc stop. But I mean, I've always watched what you're able to do, like leading cast practices, and of course they're like your kids in a sense. You have to kind of keep them going and
very much so.
They are literally my children. I've told them this. I've used tactics on them to get their attention that I use on 3-year-olds at my summer job. Like, and it works because they're just like, they're all crazy. But I'd rather them be loud and crazy and happy than like quiet and not wanting to be there.
Yeah, I think we had that problem a few years ago with some cast members. I never had cast
practice.
Yeah, that's
it wasn't
like
a thing.
sad.
It wasn't a thing when we did one. It was in the room that we just did our last cast practice, in that random room in the school business.
Yeah.
And no one even sat down. We were all kind of just standing in like a group.
Right. I remember this because I joined later.
And I was
you were literally just to the side.
Yep. It was very strange. It didn't feel like an official, like everyone sits and we do this, and like I don't know, like I think I played an old man with like a banyan. And they had us like pick our things too, which was like fine, but because I have the cast do it, pick their own prompts. But I don't really know. It was just, excuse me.
But I'm glad we kind of transformed it, I think, over the past 2 years, because I was what Grace kind of does. That was the cast liaison.
I learned from the best.
Yes.
Cast liaison.
Yes.
And so we did a lot of different stuff because I mean, my sister's a voice actor, so she knows a lot of warm-up. She is an actor as well, so she she's done many improv classes, and she loves that kind of stuff. So I kind of was inspired because I think that helps you not only get comfortable with the lines and getting better acting, but getting comfortable with the people. I mean, I think that was a huge thing that we didn't have for a while, of like just the cast members not really having a relationship with one another. And even if you don't hang out outside of Quinnipiac Tonight, that doesn't mean that you aren't like the best of friends. Because I just think that Quinnipiac Tonight just really brings a lot of people together, especially the cast members. And in order to have that amazing chemistry on screen, you really have to have it off screen as well. Because, I mean, we're not, professionals. I mean, like, Anthony Icardi is, like, data science major or whatever. Like, we have all, like, I know. And, like, we have English majors. We have education. We have history. Like, the most random stuff, and we know this, so that's how we work around it. It's supposed to be fun, and that's what I think cast practice is a huge thing. Because we used to call it off weeks, and I hated that word. I hated that label.
I just stopped calling it off week last month.
Casey's like, yes, I hated it
too. It was
too.
engraved into my brain,
and I'm so happy that we haven't done that in a while, because we called it off weeks, I guess, assuming because they didn't really have like intense cast practice / it was when we didn't have a show.
It was like a 20-minute experience, I would say. Like it was not
like over an hour.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's because everyone does joke around a good amount, but
shut up.
And we also had a humongous cast this semester. 17 cast members.
Yep.
So it was always it always took a while to get everyone to be doing everything, but yeah, I'm just glad they loved it. Like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm kind of tired, you guys. Like we could just play a game and get out of here. Like we don't have to do. I was like, you guys have been doing great, so we could do a little easy. Everyone's like, no, like we wanted to do improv, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Same thing
Like-
happened last year. I mean, we I was over in the actual meeting for a little bit, so I tasked Grace with going ahead, and I got in there and she was talking to Nicole, and a bunch of people were just hanging out in the control room because there wasn't a lot of people there.
Yeah.
It was like a midterms week or something.
Mm.
And so I was like, oh, like, can we do improv? And so then Jeff, I remember specifically Jeff was who was episode 1
Yes.
guest.
The
of
OG.
Zicast, the OG. He was like, because I brought up like, oh, do you guys like want to go home or like you want to do improv? Because at this point it was a little late. And so I went and he's like, no, we want to do improv. And the rest of the group was like, yeah, we do. And I was like, oh. And so I walk out, and so Grace is like, oh, well, you guys were just hiding, so I thought you didn't want to do improv. And they were just sitting in the control room. But then, yeah, and then we did improv, and the same thing happened this year. And it's just so amazing to see. Because I think that, like, we've made that environment, and that was some of the things that I think I definitely needed from being EP. But I was so happy to see as AP that I could help create that with Grace.
Because, we're a team.
Yeah.
And, like, if you don't practice, you're going to stink in the game.
Yep.
So that's great. And it's, like, even, like, the off week moniker, because it implies, like, you're not doing anything.
Yep.
Where the work is always being done.
There's always work.
And progress is always being made, even even on the off week. I still have to edit my segments.
Yep.
And
APs
still has to
and
work.
EPs, you don't, and head writer, you don't get a day off. Leadership team, you.
Yeah. I was gonna say, even during show week, I'm writing the next show's scripts.
Yep.
Like we wrote we used to write Shayna's like 2 hours before call time, like
Yeah.
every Thursday. So
That's crazy.
or every other Thursday.
We always did it though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Always got them done.
And it's interesting because even though I'm older, I have like no clue how things were. So it's always interesting to see how like the club's developed.
Yeah.
To being like as special as it is to this whole camaraderie thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I'm not on cast, but I feel really close to like almost just really all of the cast members.
You should.
Like, I feel like I'm a part of them.
No,
Even
we're
though-
a whole group. Like I don't think that. I mean, we all have different roles.
On paper, we're separated by our role.
Our roles, but we really are one big team.
Spiritually, we're
We can't
connected.
Literally.
I can't do anything without you.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do anything without me. We both can't do anything without
them.
Cass.
Yep.
And then if we don't have Kate doing her job, we don't know what to do at all. So who's gonna book the room and make the meeting? Like
And if Casey's in here, our equipment's just gonna be broken.
Exactly. You need everyone.
Yeah,
in
that's
this
why
club
we have
to make
such
it to work.
we
Yeah.
have such a big team. But I think we all appreciate one another. I mean, I have nothing but great things to say about literally like all of you and what you guys have done. And I say this all the time, but I'm not lying when like you guys are amazing. So
Yeah.
and I appreciate everything that you
Seriously.
guys
Yeah.
do.
We laid out the Quinnipiac Tonight supply chain. The level or the ladder, I should say.
But I'm excited to see the next year.
Me
and
too.
What you
I'm
guys
so
are gonna
excited.
do
Me
because
as
you're gonna
well.
be AP again. I don't know if
Yes.
you've said that on the Zicast yet.
Yeah,
but
this is first time it's being put out there. Yes.
Yay, you're doing
I
another
will-
time.
Yes, I will be back.
That's exciting.
So, but now moving onwards, I'd like to ask you, Grace, or really both of you, the differences between Gossip as a live show and as a podcast, and kind of what you do with both mediums.
So the basic answer is we originally had Quinnipiac Tonight's segment Gossip with Grace. Well, we had it last year and it was a mess. Like it was just a mess. Like it was not good. There was no preparation prior to the show. And it wasn't, no one really liked it. Like, and when we had our new entertainment director and production manager come in, and we had our new EPs, and we had all these new people coming into the positions, and I was still put in my position. I was freaking out to Kate, like the summer going into senior year, and I said to her, I was like, I'm very worried they're gonna cut it because I know it can be good. I want to keep it. I don't want to write, because we originally had like a weekend update type segment, but it was not the same and it was not good. It was probably still worse than gossip that semester.
Mm.
It was just not,
I think,
and
it
that's
was,
saying a
yeah.
lot. And that's saying a lot. It was not good. So Kate and I worked extremely hard for the first gossip to like come up with like all of this stuff for it, and like that's where Boner Alert came from. She was like, you need an opening thing, you need like a slogan or something, and I was like, okay, Boner Alert. Like I know
Yeah, she
Hold up the wristband.
for so many.
Wait.
Yes, we have wristbands.
Boner Alert.
For so many of the segments, she would just walk on and be like, "Hi, so we're gonna do this today."
Like,
it
no
was
structure.
like nothing, and so I was like, "With all love, you need to write down something."
So that's where the Boner Alert, welcome back to Gossip, that whole thing came from.
Yeah.
We had that, and after the first thing of Gossip, I started freaking out. I was so nervous.
Yes.
And Ragnello, the entertainment director, said I remember he said, I thought it was lovely. And then I could breathe again. And then ever since then, I think we all could agree the peak, I wouldn't even say peak, because I think it was amazing. I think our audience loved it. I had so much fun. The host loved it. But we all know the Bobbing for Apples Halloween one was like probably the best one.
Peaked
With
there.
me and JJ's wedding a close second.
That was good. That was
But-
more of an emotional one, but that was
Yes.
hilarious.
Bobbing for Apples with the Comic Sans host was the best thing ever. And I just remember like over winter break, I was thinking about it because I was like, there's so much we can't say in Q30. And that's saying a lot for us because we're the only show that can curse and say all this crazy stuff. So I called Kate and I was like, podcast. And we started kind of like fleshing it out. We were like, okay, it'll be unfiltered because we're filtered on Quinnipiac Tonight. And so that's the main difference is we can kind of, I come in here and I could say whatever I want and there's no one to critique or, I mean, like a higher up being like, you can't say this because of these reasons. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. I think a big
It's a lot more
difference.
gossipy.
It's more gossipy. It's more intimate.
Yep.
It's less extravagant. I mean, it's still extravagant, but
Yeah.
it's definitely less extravagant than the show because the show is more, I would say, of like a late night Jimmy Fallon type games where they do like stuff with celebrities. That's like my best way to describe it, I feel like, or like comparison. And then again, when you come here, you get to sit down with people, joke around, obviously be much more relaxed. I could just sit. I mean, I'd be screaming on Gossip, the podcast, but I could just sit back, relax, and like just talk about all the. And I always have such. We always say this. My life is not real. That should have been the slogan of the podcast, but
It still can
is.
be.
It
I-
literally
like, it
is.
still
It's
can
the
be.
non-spoken one.
I always have insane stories. I've had 21 years of stories built up for this, and constantly like. Even yesterday,
Always
2
something.
days ago, like the fight in the grocery store with the woman at the hot bar, like.
Which we talk
Like,
about.
I told
on the
Casey that
podcast.
too. Like, just stuff like that. It's like, it's people need to hear these things.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it. But
I mean, we do so many things on it. We have a lot more time, obviously, on it.
yeah. And a big thing. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
You're all good.
A big thing is it was something that me and Kate got to do, just the two of us together, which is like so special to me because we are dynamic duo. That's what we call ourselves. We're attached at the hip and we work on everything together, but we work on stuff together for ourselves, but also for Quinnipiac Tonight, or like even like the CPM capstone. Like we're all gonna be working on that together, but that's for like something else. Like the podcast is just like our thing that we can like make as amazing as we want.
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever, you have full creativity with the
Yeah.
editing. I can say whatever I want. We can have guests on. We don't have to have guests on. We're in full control. So that's another part that's like amazing about. I love Gossip. The segment is my, like, the Zicast is your baby. That was my baby. But I do love my podcast so much. Our podcast so
Yeah.
much. So
Well, I don't get it. I think a lot of people, like, whenever they talk to me, they're like, Grace's podcast. They're like, oh no, wait, it's also yours. I'm like, I don't care. It's like it's yours. Like, it's okay. Yeah,
I
sure,
feel
I
like
do a
even
lot
if
of the
you said
work.
my podcast, like I'd be like, yeah.
No, I
Like-
mean, that's what we do. I mean,
Yeah.
like I'll say to other people, like, my podcast,
Yeah.
whatever, but we both were not offended by that. So
Yeah.
to everyone out there who's listening, I'm not offended if you say Grace's podcast, because like again, that's something that I want. Like I want to be the sidekick. I was just telling Ryan this when we were waiting for you to get out of your party.
It wasn't a real party. It was my final, just to be clear.
I was saying that I was just like, I love being the sidekick because you love doing all of this, and you're so good at it. And you're the character that we needed. Like, I'm not that character. I'm the sidekick, you know? But no, we get to do whatever we want. If we want to do a game like we usually do on Gossip, the segment, we can do it. We can have anyone on there no matter what. We can do it whenever we want. It's whenever we're free. If we mess up, we can edit it out. I can add my fun graphics in it. I'm like with EP, I had to step back from a lot of things. Like I couldn't be on a position. So I couldn't be the technical director, which is what Casey's doing right now, pressing all the buttons, different cameras, doing the audio. I couldn't be directing. I couldn't do any of that, right? And so this kind of, once we started this, because I never thought this was going to happen. I never thought that Gossip with Grace was going to happen ever. And so because we always kept saying, you know, let's do it. And then I was like, at the point, after a while, you just kind of be like, oh, this is never just going to happen. We're just saying it, and then it's never going to happen. But she was adamant. She's like, when are we starting? And I was like, oh, shoot, I need to figure out, like, how to use the podcast studio, which is when I contacted you because I knew you were doing the Zicast. And so I was like, he knows the ins and outs. Let me ask him. But, yeah, I mean, it's just been such an amazing thing to I think make our talents better. You're much better on-air personality, I think, because of it. You're writing like the outline and whatever you want regarding that. Just personability, being a host, realizing how to communicate, because we're all learning here. We're like, no podcast, no video, no nothing is perfect, especially at the jump. Like in the beginning, like first few segments, I'm like, the second episode, worst episode ever. Like, not even sorry about that, but that was so bad. But of the podcast, and so you can skip that one.
Partially my fault too.
Yeah, it's fine.
It wasn't fitting our style. Yeah, it wasn't. And I also didn't know how to talk to another person yet on the thing.
But yeah, I mean, I get to do that. I get to do graphics. I get to post. I get to do some social media work. I get to indulge in some TikTok making, which is so fun. We made a TikTok together. No, it's very exciting. I've been having a blast. I think Grace is as well. And we always look forward to doing more. So we're now scrambling to figure out what in the world we're going to do now.
Threw my week for a whirl. And I'm not even mad about it because I was going to ask her the same thing. So I can't really blame her. But we're shooting 6 episodes. We're doing our second one right after this. I'm pretty sure the hosts are...
Is that them?
They're waiting outside. They're fine. And we're going to do the second one, and then we have 4 more after that, and then hopefully, I don't know. We're going to figure it out from there. But
it's to give us time to figure out what we can do, because that'll probably be the end of season 1. We'll have 20 episodes, and probably by the end, like whenever that it is, how many, it's 6 weeks then we have to figure out how we want to create more, because we would like to. I think a lot of people ask that, and we're very open about our situation, I think, because we're leaving, you know, and so we won't have this studio for a bit. And maybe we'll be able to do it over the summer because I'm still technically in school because of capstone. But I know they're doing some fun renovations in here, so I'm looking forward. I don't know what's happening, but that's what I was told. But we'll see when that actually happens. So hopefully we can at least use it when it has the renovations. That'd be cool. But yeah, so I mean, we'll figure it out. But that's our in the meantime kind of. So in the meantime, solution to not being able to be in here for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we'll figure out if we need to buy a bunch of stuff, if we can rent out a space, or we can sneak in here. No, you can't. There's a lock on the door.
There goes that fun.
Be like, Sue Scupo, please. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy time. This whole era, it's not to an end. It has just begun. And we're very excited.
Yes.
So.
Yes. and you guys had me on, which I'm very
Yes.
grateful for, because I know I'm not the most entertaining.
Yes, you
What?
are. You have a podcast.
Oh,
Ryan.
shush.
Well, it
You
doesn't
literally won Best Podcast. Like, I don't want to hear it. I really don't want to hear it.
I'll just shut up. Not to repeat another thing I brought up on your show, but I really like the stylistic differences between what we do.
Yeah.
Because yours is very, very, very intricately edited with all the
Mm.
graphics and the way that, like, you even play with the timeline, like what you show and going
Yes.
back. Like, I think that's so cool because, like, this is just very straightforward.
Yeah, I
Very
mean, it's
linear
a
narrative.
conversation, but
And
I agree.
yeah, everyone's story is captured in linear narrative on here. But yours is- it's so intricate and it's just very you. It's very both of you.
That's what I'm saying. It matches you. Zicast
Yeah.
is such a you thing, and then
Mm.
Gossip with Grace is chaotic, which is what we are.
Yeah.
But very fun, very entertaining, and that's why I think it's just like very perfect juxtaposition.
Mm.
Like when I pitched, well, I had Anthony Icardi pitch for me because I thought it would be weird if I pitched it. I said that for the senior show, I said that doing Barbenheimer, but it's the Zicast and Gossip with Grace. And
It's
I,
kind
I
of, this
thought-
is kind of what it is, though.
I feel that
because
Like,
we're doing
yeah.
two crossovers.
that aged incredibly well.
Yes.
I
Like,
feel.
yeah.
It's not
we
a bad
are.
pitch at all.
We're in. Trying to think of like the name it would be.
the combination between the Zicast
The
and
Gossip
and
Cast. No. Gossip with Zicast.
Gossip was the what?
That's
Zicast.
the word.
Cast
So-
with Grace.
Yeah.
Wow.
I
This
feel
is
like
what this episode is.
Should it just be one word?
Wait, that's literally what this episode is.
Yeah.
And then Gossip with Zicast is ours.
It's Zicast AF.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Zicast
saying
AF.
that's what it is. That's funny.
Zossip.
That's so funny. Oh my
Zossip.
gosh. Our shift name.
I feel like it's gotta be like the one word,
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
like Barbenheimer. I think maybe Zossip. That's all I can think. of.
Zossip. That's funny. But also, like, on a serious note, I hope we, like, kind of inspire a lot of people to kind of just show that just do it. I mean, like, you don't have to have everything figured out. You just have to start somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I always like to think that I helped give you the push.
Oh,
to
you
do
did.
this,
You,
that
I think you
influenced the
definitely
both of
did.
you.
Well,
Yeah.
you're the one how we figured out how to use this podcast video, so give yourself all of that credit. But yeah, if it wasn't for you two, definitely, especially with Grace figuring out like, oh, this is what I want to do. This is what, like, literally not even, it was just, I want a podcast. I want to talk. We had no other plans at all. It was like, that's what it is. And I was like, okay. And so then I kind of helped with the structure, but yeah, it wouldn't have happened if I didn't message you immediately and be like, Ryan, Grace is yelling at me. How do I do this? But yeah.
I was so excited to help you, and it led to so many amazing things.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. I hope you think that, because I wouldn't want you to help me lead to something you're like, ooh.
And it's funny because I know you said you were watching episode 20 with Keith Savage.
Yes.
And his late night show influenced me to do this.
Yes.
Mine influenced you, or you both, to do yours.
Yes. No,
And
it's
then-
all intertwined. I mean,
It's a
that's
domino effect.
That's
Yeah.
what school's for. It really
Mm.
is. That's what, I mean, we network hugely here, obviously, but also at the same time, we inspire each other and we help each other get better. And I
Yeah.
think that's exactly what this whole room is right now.
Mm.
So, I mean, it is. I mean, Casey kind of led me into being EP, and it's literally just, again, the domino effect. We're giving hearts.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
like, I think
oh.
I literally gave you a heart last episode too. But yeah, I mean, that's what it was. That's how it's always been. And I think people need to realize that, like, you know, stop taking everything so seriously. Do what you want.
Mm.
Don't worry about what other people think. Just do it. I mean, be a decent human being, but also it's life. Live your own life however you want. So like, Grace likes to party and do all that fun jazz. I like listening to the stories. Win-win.
Because everyone has a story.
Yes. See, that's his slogan. Ours is boner alert. That's just a perfect explanation of both of our things.
Everyone
I
has
think.
a boner. Zossip.
That was gorgeous. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Wow. I think we found something here.
That was
we
good.
we, we
That
made
was perfect.
progress here. So moving onwards, great. I'd like to ask you a sort of reflection on your time as head writer and the incredible impact you made on QU Unite.
It makes me so happy that people see an impact that I've made.
Oh yeah.
I've been told by everyone, and I was talking about this before too. I feel like I morphed all of like these questions into like one like I'm like one step ahead of you.
Yeah. Like I said, that like it's the finale.
Yeah.
You just know it.
But again, it makes me really happy that I left an effect on people, and they're telling me this. That was, again, that's a big thing, leaving an impact on a show and opening people's eyes to see what the show can be. And of course, I will never say it enough. I could not do any of it without Kate. Like, I really couldn't. And not even just like head writer and EP doing our jobs, like Kate pushing me to do things. And even with the first gossip, like Kate was being like, you need this, and she was like, don't worry, we're gonna do good. We're gonna do this, that, the other thing. I think that for one of the episodes before you were EP, we stayed up till like 4 a.m. and she was trying to help me. That was before we were even in any of this realm with the gossip stuff at all. But I have a lot to thank Kate for, and Aaron, and everyone. Just find your gift and see what your school has to offer you with it. Not your gift. I don't want to sound cocky. I didn't mean it like that. I meant like find your
gift,
passion.
Yeah. We all have gifts though.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. You could
Find
say
your
gift.
favorite-
That's not being too much. Not at all.
Find what you're passionate about, what you want to do for like a career. And again, make sure you love it. And the school probably is something that you can do.
I think a lot of people don't even utilize what the school offers. Like, just go and do UQU and just scroll.
Yeah. I thank Q30 again. I'm so thankful that Q30 has given me this show to be a part of, because I'm not a news person. I am not. I don't care about the news majority of the time. So even celebrity news, I'm like half in touch with it. Like it's just, I like narrative things, and I'm happy that there's a place where people could just be weird. I always say this, you can be the coolest person on the planet, you could be the weirdest person, like freak, and you're both in Quinnipiac tonight, and that label comes off the second you walk in the door. Like no one is better than anyone in a status way. That's another thing we emphasized a lot this year. Like no, like we're called the leadership team, but we're not your boss per se. So it was just, again, like just
well, a huge part
happy.
of why I wanted to do the leadership team, because I deemed that thing that I want to say, but I deemed it the leadership team because I feel like years before, every time we felt like the EPs, we have different responsibilities, but like EPs and APs, they're not supposed to be all that different. And especially head writer was always left out of everything. Social media person was always left out of everything. And it just didn't feel like, a group, And so it just, again, it felt like everyone was kind of against each other rather than working with each other, which is what I feel like a lot of people, especially within the station, have issues with. And I wish that could be highlighted more. But yeah, I mean, we all have different responsibilities. Technically, the EPs, yes, have final say, but if you're a good EP, you need to like listen to other people, really like be open, especially with your team. I mean, you guys are a team. That's what you are. And if you're not going to work together, it's going to show, like you were saying earlier. And so I thought that was huge, like really important. I mean, you do so much. Like you're not only writing, but you're staging, you're blocking, you're helping with the actual cast practice. Like you're doing so much more than people see. I mean, you write you write everything. You write every word that is on the screen with the segments as well as the live scripts. Everything. The only thing that you don't write is what they shout out in the goodbyes. That's the only thing that you don't write. And again, it's not highlighted enough. And I think it's huge because, I mean, you write 4 or 5 pre-recorded sketches and then one or two, no, 3 or 4 of the live.
The
ones.
live script, 4 lives, if we need a 4th.
Yeah.
It's usually like a 9-page script. The live script, I would say like 9 to 11 pages, depending on like what we need.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
yeah,
that doesn't
we do
include any of the pre-recorded.
Yeah.
And that is every 2 weeks. And
Yeah.
it's always different.
I was gonna say what you said before about head writer position being left out of things and like how you wanted to not. I mean, honestly, I didn't necessarily feel that way in Quinnipiac tonight as head writer, but like in Q30, like it was overlooked, and thankfully we did have our cabinet last year who was aware of all of the stuff I was doing and made it a point to recognize that it is a big job.
They
and
did
even
recognize
Casey
it.
too. Casey would always be like, your job is hard. Like she would always
She'd
say,
always be like, thank God, thank God, thank God. She does that
Oh.
this year.
yeah. So I never felt like that in our show itself, but it is a thing. And I was talking about this yesterday. Being a woman in comedy is very, very difficult, especially now with things becoming you can have my style, sense of humor, but I think that you have to be really famous. It's hard. It's hard to get your foot in the door already with like people's comfortability levels in today's society, and what one day could be funny, another day could be off the table for good. Like it's a constantly moving, it's an evolving form of entertainment, but at the same time it is a known, I guess, stereotype that girls aren't funny and things that girls joke about aren't funny, which I disagree. Some of the funniest people I know are boys, but a lot of them are girls too. And I don't see a difference in humor regarding gender ever. So I just wanted to get that out there because I think it's so important. And also appreciate your writers. Like that's another impact I hope left with them, since everyone is saying I'm leaving this position and it's a big deal that I'm leaving, and they appreciated the work I've done. I hope that whoever's in the positions for years to come are also recognized this way, because even if the scripts, like the actual content, let's say it was horrible, let's say it wasn't that funny in any capacity, it was whatever, they're still doing a crazy amount of work. So because you're doing all that work, but then you're also, if it kind of comes down to the writing, if it's not funny, like that's it. Like it could be unfun. I mean, a lot of the times also like actors are able to pick it up and fix it, and the editing, but you never know, you know what I mean? If the script baseline is just like boring,
Well, you can't really
there's
edit live.
it's hard. Yeah, exactly that with the lives too. If the that's the real, you see it in the live audience. Like if they're not laughing, there's been millions of times that we do a cold open and no one's laughing. Might be because there's like not that many people there, or if it's just like we did the orange juice commercial based off of O.J. Simpson's like passing recently with
everything with this
it was all
trial.
like insinuating like making OJ references. Whole thing went over the audience's head, and everyone said that was the best cold open I've ever written. I thought it was awesome. No one in the audience knew what it was, but
you were so excited about it too.
I was so excited, and they kind of got it towards the end, but it's fine. But again, appreciate the writers. You just saw it too with the strike. You can't in Quinnipiac tonight. I can't do anything without all of you guys, but in the real world you can't move without a writer. You can't do anything, because who's gonna act, you know what I mean, who's gonna act out? There's nothing to act out, there's nothing to shoot, there's nothing. So that's why so many of everyone's favorite shows stopped in last summer in production, because the streaming services were making a crazy amount of money from shows, and the writers weren't getting paid nearly enough. They've been underpaid forever, but it was like, okay, like you're making this much money, Netflix is making this much money, compensate us, because you couldn't have the show without us writing it and coming up with ideas.
They didn't come up with like solutions for streaming and whatnot, so they just kind of like paid them. And didn't take into account that streaming is like a thing. So
well, also, I mean, a lot of shows like HBO, like, I mean, there's just shows that like came onto Netflix and all these other streaming services
Yeah.
that were on cable.
That's what
Like,
I'm
I was
saying.
gonna say,
yeah.
like,
It
HBO streams
moves.
Friends, like, I was gonna say Jane the Virgin, but I think that's a Netflix original. But either way,
Is it? No, I don't
yeah.
think it is.
Are you
I
sure?
don't think it is.
I'm not.
Could be wrong.
I'm not
No.
entirely sure, but either way, again, pay your writers, recognize the work because
Yeah.
it's hard.
It is.
It's hard. You're making the blueprint
Yeah.
for what everyone has to do, kind of, and they can take it their own way, but that's the groundwork. So, it's a very. I will always appreciate a writer, any writer. You go like you write novels. That's incredible. I don't think I could ever do that. Like.
I don't think I could do what you do. So I guess that's a fair trade-off. But you're so right. It all starts with a script. It all starts with a vision. People always say the most important part of film is the script. Even though I kind of disagree because I think the most important part of film is everything. But I do think, like, it's just a fact. It all starts with a script. And it was very poignant. I was thinking about the strikes too. And you brought that up in regards to, like, looking for internships and things during that time.
Yeah.
It was a very pivotal turning point for writers and creatives to sort of seek, like, take back control, so to speak. In this new era.
And I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
They deserved it. Wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Woohoo.
Woo.
Hey, the writers. Very good.
So moving onwards, I'd like to ask you, Grace, what's some things people may not know about you?
Ooh.
That's hard because I can't keep my mouth shut. But
That's something we do know.
Try again.
I have a dog named Kitty.
I love the irony.
Yeah. And I love
When you
her.
told me that, I thought you were joking.
Another thing. I mean, we've said it. I'm trying to think of things.
Did you, like, grow up or go to a camp or...
Any hobbies?
I mean, I
Yeah,
played
hobbies.
lacrosse since I was in second grade. Then I stopped freshman year of college, and then I played I played field hockey. I was actually, I know people don't know this about me because Tino was shocked when he found out, and I didn't even tell him. But I was a very good field hockey player in high school, and it was, I think I was saying this. I was saying this on one of our episodes, I think with my best friend from home came to visit. Field hockey is like my writing now. Like that was my passion and I loved it. And that was like a family. Our coaches were amazing. We were a very good team in general, skill wise, but we were all family. And it was also just one of the probably the best shape I'll ever be in my entire life. I don't look it. I used to be able to. I was the fastest person on my team, and we would run like 10 miles a day at practice. Maybe like in total, we run 3 miles, like just to like start and then go into practice. And I have so many stories that I could go into with my time as playing on varsity for field hockey, but that's one of my favorite things in the world that I've ever done. Quinnipiac tonight, field hockey, and just
Whatever's next.
Whatever's next. I hope I keep finding things in life that made me that happy.
You will.
I think you will.
Yeah.
You being you walk into somewhere, they'll love you, and I hope that you'll love it. But that's great to know that you're a field hockey, you're an athlete. Take that, Anthony Icardi.
I was an athlete. That was like who I was. It's very it's a big thing on Long Island to play field hockey, or not play field hockey, play lacrosse, but also just do sports. So I always think about that. I'm like, people don't know that about me here. Like, I'm a NARP. And just, they have no idea that I played sports since I was like,
They might know
like,
it, but they
little.
don't know like how good you were, especially since
how much time it consumed. I used to play travel lacrosse. I would go to other states with Top Guns Lacrosse. It's a travel team.
Yeah.
I hated it, but
because like you're the coach now, but
I
they
was a
don't
player
know
for
about you before. And I feel like a lot of coaches get that.
Yeah.
Because like I've recently, I don't know why, but I've been seeing like these TikToks with like soccer coaches doing like funky tricks with the ball when it comes to them. And like they're like, look at him, he's had a history. That's Grace Parisi for you.
Yeah.
And I say take that Anthony Icardi because they make jokes about each other. Just for those who don't know, to emphasize
He was
that.
sitting on that for a minute.
Yeah.
Me and Anthony give each other. We give and receive fat jokes to each other. It's
Yes.
all a joke.
In
Yeah.
honor of you, last night I went with him, Jeff, and Joe Flynn to go see The Fall Guy, but we saw it on the biggest screen possible. I said to Anthony Icardi, Anthony, you could fit on that screen. I said that in honor of you, Grace.
Good. Thank you, Ryan.
That's
Defend my
so
honor.
funny.
So
They
yes,
keep going every single time.
it's electric. It's
really
I love
incredible.
it. I love it.
So just know I'm defending your honor when you're not there.
Thank you.
I expect to hear all of this from next year.
Yes.
When she is gone.
Yeah.
The fat jokes must still live on.
The legacy will continue.
Yes.
If anything, that will be her big legacy. So moving onwards, Grace, I'd like to ask you your hopes and dreams, whether it be professionally or in general.
My biggest dream in life is to be able to go to the beach and put my jet ski on the water and ride it. That's it. That's all I want. I want to be able
Wow.
to have time in my life where I could do that, and I'm not like
Yeah.
retired, you know, like or like have a boat. I need to be on the water. I was telling you guys this, but that's just like my simplest thing in life. That's my favorite thing to do in the whole world, and I want to be at a point where I can buy my own jet ski and have a place where I live that I could just walk outside and go do that, and that's it. And that means I'm aware of the work that has to be put into that. That's what I do with my family. My dad has been working since he was 8 years old, and he is the hardest working person I've ever met in my entire life. And he's a big inspiration of my dreams, and I kind of mirror that. I want to, and my sister, she was a very hardworking student. She went to Fordham. She's working for KPMG, which is a very, for us film majors, that's like getting a really good job at like NBC or like one of the big companies.
Good for her.
Yeah, she deserves it fully too. But I want to meet them up there. I want to get to my family and we all say, "Hey, we have these cool jobs. Like, what's up?"
We have these cool
But-
jet skis.
Yeah, professionally, obviously my biggest dream in life is to write for SNL or be on SNL. That's my biggest one. That's like
Please
Mission
write for them. Make it
Impossible.
better. Please.
It's Mission Impossible, but hopefully I could get there somehow into the world. But if my work if I can make money doing this, that's my dream come true for
That'd be
now.
awesome.
Mission Impossible isn't always impossible.
Yeah.
Period.
It's only impossible if you don't try.
I mean, there's
So-
many movies to prove that.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly. Yes, there's about
There's so many. Like, I don't even know how many there are.
8, I think. I don't even know.
Are there
I'm a
8?
huge fan. I don't even know. But that goes to show that you should definitely go for it. Because I think you walk in any of those rooms, like I said, they'll love you.
Thank you.
Just
Yep.
so keep at it. So to reciprocate another thing, or repeat, I should say, another thing we talked about on Gossip with Grace, the golden question: your favorite movies. What are your favorite movies?
My favorite movies, again, I told you, Theater Camp, which was a Sundance film directed by Ben Platt and Molly Gordon, and it was written by, I forgot his name. It's a great movie, though, if you
I
haven't
thought
seen
it
it.
was like I thought it was a group of people who
It
wrote
was. Will Ferrell produced it.
Yeah.
There was a whole bunch of other people, but Ben Platt and Molly Gordon were in the films as characters, and
Yeah.
one of the other characters was the writer, and it's so funny. You don't need to know theater to love it. I am half involved with the theater kids at Quinnipiac. Not even I minor in it. That's basically it, and it was so funny. I loved it. That's on Hulu. Go
It's like
watch
a
it.
mockumentary, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
mockumentary type thing. Mean Girls, which I said I could recite. It's hilarious and timeless, and the message will always stand true. Even though it's like really beating in horrible messages throughout the whole thing, like at the end, it's just, I love it. That's
Good.
amazing
That's what
movie.
matters.
Bridesmaids, obviously. I love that movie. That movie makes me happy because it's like basically an all-girls cast. That it's just such a funny movie. Melissa McCarthy carries, Kristen Wiig carries, Maya Rudolph carries. Everyone in that movie is so distinct. Like each bridesmaid, it's awesome. Like and that's like one me and my mom love to watch together. So I love that one. And then I have to give Napoleon Dynamite like a shout out because that is what, I don't know. That was like the first like funny movie I watched that I was like, I love this. And I think that I like want to do something with this. So, and it's just a classic, but yeah.
The same 5, and I loved it. The list all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
And, like,
surprised you remember all of them. Like,
real ones, no.
yeah.
Yep.
Real ones, no.
Like I noted, Bridesmaids. That's one of my mom's favorite. It's a great mom movie,
Yes.
and just an overall great list. That's very
Yes.
fitting of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it shows your diversity, I think, because those are pretty diverse movies. So,
Comedy, a lot of like smarter, interesting comedies.
Yeah.
If you wanna call them that.
I was gonna say Napoleon Dynamite's like a stupid one, but
It was a Sundance movie.
so yes, it was.
It was a spur there.
It was
Yeah.
originally a short that they,
Yes.
I believe, submitted to
told me that.
Sundance, and then became a feature, if I'm correct. If not, they might have did a short, submitted it somewhere, and then made it
Yeah,
longer.
something like
but
that.
Either way,
Sundance. Yeah.
Sundance. We love Sundance.
That's awesome.
Yes.
You went once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went in 2023.
I went with you.
Yeah, I said we.
Oh, I thought you said you. I was like,
Yeah, I did. No. Yeah, we went in 2023. We didn't. You went, right?
I did
You
this
went
year.
in 2024.
And
So
it was
that's
peak.
exciting.
It was
peak.
literally peak.
Good job. Well, yeah.
Because we're so high.
Yes, that's true. That's awesome, though. I hope you had a great time.
High as an elevation. High as an elevation.
Yes.
that killed me.
Grace
Yeah.
is dying
I
every
walked
time
up a
we
hill
walked
once
somewhere.
and had to lay down for many like hours. Casey was there too. Me and Casey shared a bed. Literally.
That's so funny. No, that was a good time.
Yeah.
I'm glad we went especially together.
Yeah, me too.
We had a lot of memories, little memes.
Yeah.
A lot of
We
memories.
had and Jamie was there,
Jimmy was there.
and Ragnello and Rada were upstairs with us. That was like a stacked. I wish we knew Rada better because that was when I first met him. That was a good floor. Like all of us, it was a good floor.
Hey, whoever made the houses, God bless.
Yes.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, shout out.
Epic.
Shout out. Because
Epic
that
memories.
house, sorry, that house was elite. That house was amazing. Well, you guys all stayed in one house, right?
Yes.
We had 2 at the time.
Mm.
But they were like right across from each other. But like, it's still you were partying in one. You didn't want to walk across because it's icy outside.
Yeah.
So, but that was awesome. I had a great time. I mean, and I'm not a huge person to go outside of my bubble. So
It was so fun.
yeah, it really was.
Nice.
I got to sit next to Jamie on the plane.
Aw.
I sat with Sam Shaw. We're plane buddies for life.
Yeah, you guys got so connected. You were like, I don't know this person, and now you're besties with her.
That's how we got close because we sat together on the plane.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is.
Very special. That's what we do. We reflect on memories.
Yes.
So kind of with that all said, do you have any parting words for this episode before we wrap things up?
Again, appreciate your writers. Appreciate what everyone, if you're a writer, appreciate what you have right now as a college student, and take full advantage. Work with people who are like-minded. You're not gonna find another moment like this in your life where you have freedom to kind of create things and do things with people that, again, you both love to do.
Yeah.
And just be happy.
Genuinely.
Be happy.
Stop being miserable, please.
Make people
I'll try.
make people
No, you were
laugh.
the last person to be miserable. But no, yeah, I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's life. Don't take it too seriously. I mean, have fun. Obviously, make stuff that you're proud of. Work hard for it. Make sure you realize the effect that you have on other people, especially with your actions and whatnot. But no, yeah, I think that was a good thing to go off of. Also, follow Gossip with Grace and Phil. But yeah.
Yes. Ooh.
Ooh. Hello?
Casey's playing around
I
back
couldn't
there.
hear myself.
No worries.
But yeah, Gossip with Grace. Do you wanna do your
Yes.
little thing?
GWG_unfiltered on Instagram. Gossip with Grace on YouTube and Spotify. And GWG unfiltered, no underscore, no nothing for the TikTok, where you could see the lovely Ryan Ziaks and myself doing a TikTok together and
Yeah.
other ones, but
Beautiful.
And then
that
this,
one is like
this
your guys'
episode-
probably favorite.
This episode's gonna be out before ours.
Yeah, this
because
will be out on
his is
Friday,
Oh.
and yours on Sunday.
Yes.
So it'll be
Yeah.
So as you're watching this, but
Take
back
note.
go back to Gossip with Grace on Sunday at 8 p.m. and watch me and Ryan like play games and stuff.
Yeah,
Fun.
you hear a little bit more. You guys hear more of our style, and Ryan kind of joins in this style. I bet you did amazing.
Yeah,
I
you
have to
did.
say.
You did good.
Thank
I know
you.
you were a little nervy, but you did really well. Like because it's
I was
such
excited.
good. I know afterwards you were like, I've peaked.
I have peaked.
But no, you did really well.
Thank you.
Your faces during some of the stories were the most funniest thing I've ever seen.
I know you too well, Grace. Where like I was doing some of like I was doing some of your faces like that.
Yeah, he's been quoting you recently.
That's so funny.
But yeah,
I
we
could-
really appreciate this. I was so excited to have Grace on because I just wanted to hear all
Yeah.
this side of Grace.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, did you have fun?
I had so much
Good.
fun.
Yay.
I'm so sorry I was late.
Oh, no worries.
My stupid final.
It was worth it.
It
was-
was so worth it.
This is a very special one, of course, because I consider it like the unofficial season finale.
Yeah.
'Cause this is the last one
Yes.
I'll do in this semester, and of course with all the people who meant a lot to me,
Yeah.
who've helped welcome me to the school
Yeah.
and give me so many opportunities, like Casey, who was my kind of OG Zicast TD, who
Yep.
helped me so much in putting this
Yay.
whole thing together. Episode 17 guest Ben Jurgen described you as a if I was stranded on a desert island with person because of how like capable and reliable you are,
That's funny.
and I very much attest to that. And of course, Kate, you leading Quinnipiac tonight, and how much that's meant to me and all the opportunities. It's special. I don't know where I'd be without it. And of course, Grace, if Quinnipiac tonight was a person, it would be you.
Yes.
And like
It's your show.
I called you Miss Quinnipiac tonight and your senior send off, and I very much meant that. And you mean so much to our show. And like I don't know what it's gonna look like, but there will always be the shadow of Grace Parisi over the show because of how much you meant to it.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
thank you again for all of you done as an AP and as a general member. You've gone above and beyond this year, and I'm so
Thank you.
proud of
Yeah.
you.
It's-
So
Season 10 was so good.
It was
Like
so
that
good.
is what our goal was, and season 10 has been the best I think it could have been.
Mhm.
And I'm so happy with how it turned out. We had 12 episodes. They were all pretty phenomenal, no matter if our audience realized it or not. Sometimes they didn't. But it's okay because we all had our spirits high, and we came in the next 2 weeks and killed it again. So
I will tell future generations about season 10 of Quinnipiac tonight that it was special. That
yes.
there never be
I'm so
anything like it.
sad. I don't want to leave because, like, it's crazy to me. Every single year, I'm always like, oh, like the people returning are gonna be like the people. Always the first years. Always are the first years or the transfer students who make the most impact. It's always them. I don't. It's always them. I don't know. It's just always like, oh my gosh, because I mean, last year, it was like that whole. It was Jack, Jeff. It was Aaron. It was like
MKF.
Sean, Rada, MKF. All of those people who just joined. And this year, it's like you, Anthony, still Jeff. Jeff is always going to be up there.
Nick,
Yeah.
Jacob, Castillo,
Madison.
so many.
Everybody. I mean, it's absolutely insane, and I just want to see where that goes. Next year, I'm going to be like the Jamie. We're going to be Jamie. and
I know.
no one's going to know us, and we're going to be like, oh, no. But, yeah, I mean, are you, when we come back from our unofficial season finale, are you going to be in, like, season 2, or are you going to do the thing where you just keep counting up?
I will see.
Ooh.
I'm-
No spoilers.
I'm thinking maybe start of next semester would be season 2.
Yeah.
So it's really just how many I can do until then.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, my goal is just to do as many of these as I can.
There you go.
I
That's
will
what we're
figure that out.
doing. That's what we're doing
So
as
I will
well.
figure that out as we go along.
Yes.
But of course, amazing guests, an amazing TD and Casey,
Yay.
the OG forever. And so, we're wrapping things up here. So as always, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story, signing off. Thank you so much for watching.